what's going on, y'all? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And you're about to watch a little OTB LSU.
We're going to give you all the latest, greatest between LSU football, baseball, women's basketball, softball, and everything in between.
Bottom line, if you want to talk Tigers, keep it locked, subscribe, like it, and we hope you enjoy it. So Brian Kelly met with the media, though, yesterday. And, okay, here's a few conversations I want to have. First off, the Kyron Lacey catch was badass. I'm excited for DJ Chester. I think there's some interesting talk on the on the O-line too deep. And the wide receiver group may not be the most proven, but Cortez Hankton is. Then we get into some defensive conversation as well. But Jake, here, one thing that Kelly was talking about yesterday, one of the themes of kind of the availability was how player-led this team is. And that makes sense, right? I mean, Nuss has been here now, 4 years? Josh Williams been here 6 years, I think.
If you ever want to know how long that Garrett Nussmeier's been here, he was a backup to Max Johnson.
Wow. There you go.
Yeah, remember the Arkansas game, Max Johnson, first series. The rest of the game was Nuss.
So you got Harold Perkins, who's now an upperclassman. Jacolian Gurley's an upperclassman. Major Burns has been here for 17 years.
Major Burns played with us.
And so why I think this is so impactful is not just the natural leadership and ability that comes from being an upperclassman, Jake, but this is now, they've been in the Brian Kelly process for 3 years. So it's a situation where they're no longer learning the process. They are now teaching the process to the next generation. The onboarding is done, and they're now showing the way how to carry yourself day to day, both consciously and subconsciously. And I think that's one of the reasons why when people talk about culture and process and all these other sorts of things, why they generally start to pop in year 3 is it's no longer install. We're just running the playbook.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the coaches don't have to spend as much time teaching the youngins because the old players do, the old heads do. And so a player-led team has the potential to be great. I still just have personnel questions about this LSU team.
There's certainly questions. And this is going to be a team that we go down the depth chart and we're like, gosh, you feel really good about that position, that one, feel bad about that one, feel okay about that one. I mean, we're going to have all of those conversations. Now, I will say the defensive staff, because a lot of the questions that we're going to ask are going to be on that side of the football, the defensive staff does make you feel much better about the situation than over the last 2 years. So that part of it is good. And you do have some veteran leaders on the defensive side of the football, right? So it's really going to come down to what feels like last year's LSU team was. How much can the defense improve? Because on the offensive side, it's going to look different, but that's where you feel much better about the situation.
Without a doubt.
Receiver, certainly the offensive line. I think everybody feels good about Nussmeier. Running back, even though like right now it's light, you still have people that you think can go out there and get it done. Tight end, we talked about that. You feel good about that. Most of the questions that we're going to be asking ourselves are on the defensive side of the football, but how much can those veteran players get the information from Blake Baker and Bo Davis and all those guys and give it to the young players, and like what is that going to look like?
Here's what Brian Kelly had to say about getting to work with Baker, Raymond, Davis, Peoples.
What people?
Johnson? People or Peoples? People?
No, what people?
Oh God.
Works for Peoples.
No, I was going to say when there were already a Peoples, but there was a Steeples.
Yeah.
And the people, as we know, are in the steeple. What was that old thing? You remember? Y'all probably don't even know. Because before cell phones, you had to stay entertained. Church. You had to stay entertained with just little hand tricks.
No, little 16-year-old brats.
Here's the church. Yes. This is the steeple. Open the door, and here's all the people.
There we go. And here's Kevin People, new edge rushing coach.
I've really
go ahead.
I've enjoyed the past 6 weeks, being in constant contact with the defensive staff that we've assembled. It's been, for me, very comfortable, great communicators. We're all on the same page relative to what we're teaching and how we want to teach it, evaluations in recruiting. It's been a really smooth transition. I like the way we're coaching, what we're demanding, the attention to, the real details of playing defense. And we're not getting ahead of ourselves in a sense of, understanding the basic tenets of playing really good defense. And you can see that early on. So it's been enjoyable. I think that we're going to see a defense that's going to play with a lot of energy, a lot of excitement. I know that our guys are excited. You can see just by the way they're practicing over the last couple of days.
I don't know about you, Jake. Again, this is, you're throwing the scraps off the table and making a meal out of it. But I feel like that's a lot of commentary on Matt House there, right? We're practicing
within like the first
the
kind of
attention
sentence
to
he
the
said.
real details of playing defense, not getting ahead of ourselves in a sense of understanding the basic tenets of playing really good defense.
See, I even got it from the first sentence when he's saying being in constant contact with the defensive staff.
Yeah, that's true. What does that mean? Yeah, exactly. Like what was going on before?
So, like, that tells me that the communication wasn't great. In fact, he goes on to say they're great communicators.
Yeah, we're all on the same page relative to what we're teaching, how we're teaching it, and evaluations in recruiting.
And again, that's not just Matt House. I think it was every level, and that's why you moved on from every level.
Yeah, fair.
Like, it wasn't just, hey, we got to get a new defensive coordinator in here. That was, we are bad on all three levels, and this cannot continue.
So that's exciting because, I mean, look, again, that's been the goal from day one for it's been the goal for day one for Brian Kelly with this new defense is play fast. Play fast. And I've heard stories from last year, Jake, and I think there's probably some public evidence as well, though, of Kelly being frustrated with House at times because he has all these schemes, but they can't even they can't even play just a base defense correctly. Like, yeah, you have all these like creative sort of quirks and wrinkles that you want to throw in, but your guys can't do the fundamentals. And if you can't do the fundamentals, you have no base upon which to build a larger plan of attack. And so this quote to me speaks to all of that. And if there's one thing that Blake Baker's proven to be able to do time and time again through the years, it is get guys to play fast and maximize their potential. And again, Matt House, more of an NFL coach. Now, it worked 2 years ago. I don't know how, right? So I still don't fully understand the fall off, but more of an NFL coach. Blake Baker knows what it's like to teach scheme to these college kids and to make it able to be digested and comprehended across a wide swaths, like a wide group of kids, right? Who are going to have varying levels of kind of football acumen. And Blake Baker's been in college his entire life, so he knows exactly how to do that.
And this is going to feel like pumping sunshine, and I don't want it to because it's not my intention. But also just having defensive coaches that this is the landing spot. This is the ultimate landing spot for them.
Yeah,
like Bo Davis has been at Alabama and Texas and so many different places, but this is home. This is where he played. This is where he started his career. So, like, for him to get back here, it means something to him. Corey Raymond was always here, went to Nebraska for a little bit, came back, and then he goes to Florida. Well, now he's back where he's always wanted to be because it's home for him. Blake Baker, right, played college football in Louisiana. His wife played soccer for LSU. He wanted to stay here. He lived 4 houses down from me. Trust me when I say he wanted to stay here when he got let go the last time when the staff, right, got fired and new staff came in. Like, he wants to be here. It means something for him to be here. And I'm not saying that's the only thing, but we're talking about really good football coaches, and you pair that with them wanting to be here, this being the ultimate stop for them.
Well, and one thing is, look, man, I think that this team is hamstrung a bit on the defensive side of the ball right now from a personnel standpoint. Maybe I'm being a little doom and gloom. Maybe maybe it doesn't end up being as bad as I think, right? But what's got to be really attractive for these coaches, Jake, right now, is they, if nothing else, they have security. Brian Kelly ain't going anywhere. You know, you didn't sign on to a sinking ship here. The man's got a 10-year deal, and now you have such big deals that you're not going anywhere either. So, like, you can actually operate. You don't have to operate constantly looking over your shoulder, exploring other options, being worried about what may come. And you can also operate with the peace of mind, okay, I just got to get the most out of these cats that I have currently, and then I'll have a more opportunity in the future to even add and fix whatever personnel issues we potentially have.